Jack, and this is gaming news for the week of February 8th, 2016. What is up, though? I'm Jack. I'm back after not being able to do news previously because of PAX, and it was awesome. By the way, we covered that last Friday. It was amazing. You should have been there. If you weren't there, you should be. The first bit of news we have for you is that Ubisoft is denying that The Division on PC was quote-unquote held back. There is a video by Team Epiphany that is circulated featuring an interview with an unnamed Division developer saying that in regards to the PC version, we do have to kind of keep it in check with the consoles. Kind of be unfair to just push it so far away from them. So basically, what the video said is that The Division on PC, the specs for it are drastically lower than that of the console version of it. And there was an official report made by Ubisoft after that report was released, I suppose, or after that video was released, stating that that is not the case at all. What's up?
If you, I believe what it's saying actually here is that they hindered the PC version so it was on par with the console version.
Right.
It sounds like they're saying that they had to keep it in check with the console.
And according to Ubisoft, it says, "It has come to our attention that a comment from one of our team members has been perceived by some members of the community to imply that the PC version of The Division was held back. This is simply not true." So it was built from the ground up. The Division on PC was built from the ground up to be specifically for the PC. Wasn't meant to be a port of consoles or anything like that. So I believe that to be a complete and total inaccuracy. And based on some of the gameplay I've seen on YouTube and a few other streamers, I know that the game itself is going to be awesome. So, Gunny, what do you think? Do you think it's a common practice for game developers to nerf games on PC?
That's certainly a good question, and that's definitely got to be something that they would have to think about early in development, because, well, maybe not that early in development, but after going through, actually making the entire game, we always have to keep in mind that, like, when they start making these games 2, 3, maybe even 4 or 5 years back, depending on how big it is. So, there certainly is a question as to whether or not the entire console versus PC was a question at the time of creation. But then again, I'm not a game developer, so I'm not entirely sure how much that plays into the entire role.
Right. How about yourself, Squeak? PC games, consoles versus PC?
Well, from what I know, which is very, very little, is that it seems that when they try to port over a game from one, either console to PC or PC to console, something always gets fucked up, messed up, and so as to me it seems smart to start from the ground up, designing it for PC and then designing it for consoles, and not have to try to back end your way into, okay, well now let's make this fit, just build it to fit.
Yeah, I agree completely. I know that the release for Mortal Kombat X was pretty abysmal. I played the game for a while, and High Voltage was first in control of porting the console version of Mortal Kombat X from consoles to PC, and the release was absolutely terrible. Anybody that was around or wanting to take part in Mortal Kombat X on its release knows exactly what I'm talking about. Next piece of news is that Bruce Lee is returning to video games by way of EA Sports UFC 2. I'm curious. Bruce Lee in an MMA game.
It's not just Bruce Lee. If you read farther down into the article,
No, I'm just stoked about Bruce Lee. I don't really care about anyone else, but please go ahead.
Well, it also talks about Mike Tyson, Bas Rutten, and Kazushi Sakuraba. I think that's how that's pronounced.
Okay, Mike Tyson, Bas Rutten, and Kazushi Sakuraba. Yep, the UFC fighters. Let's see. Bruce Lee is not going to be the only fighting legend to make their way to UFC 2. However, EA Sports has confirmed that Mike Tyson, Bas Rutten, and Kazushi Sakuraba are going to be in there as well. That's pretty cool. These players act as a bonus for those who want to pre-order the game, but can also be unlocked through beating the game's career mode. So either you get it as a pre-order bonus, or you get it for beating the game. That's cool.
I think, yeah, that's definitely pretty cool. Like,
the last...
being able to play...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to comment about, like, being able to play as these different legends. it's definitely something cool that they added to a fighting game, of course.
I'm a little
Probably gonna be
concerned
more-
about Mike Tyson being in there because I mean, I'm sure his hands game is still on point. I mean, he was registered as the world heavyweight champion. That he's still on record as having the strongest uppercut. But I'm curious as to how that's going to convert to MMA, like ground game, like tackling and wrestling each other.
Yeah.
No, the last Bruce Lee game I played was one on the original Xbox. I don't remember the name of it. I'm sure I probably have it laying around somewhere. Are you you're not a MMA fan, are you, Squeak? You're not a fan of grown men getting sweaty and beating the piss out of each other?
It's not my thing. I mean, I know it takes a lot of training and skill and things like that, but I'm just not my cup of tea.
How about yourself, Gunny?
I gotta say that, quite personally, you know, I never got into wrestling, MMA, anything like that either. I've always been one for more, you know, like, more puzzle games, stuff like chess. I was never really more into the actual active sports. But like of the active sports, wrestling is probably the lowest of my interests. Not that I'm saying that, you know, it's bad. Not that I'm saying it's my thing. It's definitely cool sometimes to watch. And it's definitely cool to just think about just like the stamina, the endurance, everything that goes into it. It's just, you know, because.
But Bruce Lee in a fighting game, bro. Bruce Lee in a fighting game, bro.
Okay, yeah. Bruce Lee in a fighting game, that's freaking cool, but.
And honestly, if I ever get to play it, that's probably the only time you'll ever see Bruce Lee suck is when I try to play as Bruce Lee.
No, just button mash. You'll be alright. Don't even worry about it.
Is that a game you can even button mash in?
No. But you could do it.
You know what? You could do a really, really funny machinima video of horrible Bruce Lee.
Oh, Bruce Lee? Bruce Lee with Down syndrome or some shit like that?
Yeah, purposely make him just suck balls. That'd be awful.
Bruce Lee versus Glass Joe.
Yeah, Axel, I'm responding to chat here. Axel says, the only fighting game I played was Tekken. Yeah, I played a lot of Tekken, a lot of Street Fighter. The 3 games that I had growing up when I was a kid were Super Mario World, Mega Man X, and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the SNES, and I played those games for a good number of years. So, and then I got into Tekken, and that was fun. Wow, I guess I should probably speed this up here. We're kind of dragging our feet on the news, but that's fine. Completely okay. Yep. Hitman's PS4 beta starts this week. New trailer available. I will show it to you immediately. Watch carefully. After this ad, sad face. Probably should have taken care of that previously, but, you know.
Beautiful ad for Far Cry.
Yeah, Far Cry. Come on.
He still remembers nothing?
If he does, he's not sharing.
All agents have weak spots, Miss Burnwood. Pressure points to keep them in check. But this one...
I choose him.
Such skills and reflexes. They can only be the result of previous training. Power like that would no more restraint. He could be dangerous.
I thought that was rather the point, sir.
Are you sure about this?
My decision stands.
Very well. I'll be watching.
It's how the Hitman became the Hitman. It's the beginning of Hitman. And the beta for it begins Friday, February 12th on PS4. PC players can get started February 19th. And awesome. I mean, fucking another Hitman, bruh. Is that a barcode on the back of the dude's head? Yes. Unicorn, that is Agent 47's barcode. Each one of the people that was part of the experimentation to turn them into assassins, him and the rest of his siblings, which, from what I understand, he is the last of. He's got a barcode tattooed on the back of his head, which is 47. I wanted to, at one point, get a barcode tattooed on the back of my head, which would be the barcode for, like, Mountain Dew, but I was a teenager at the time, and now that I'm older, that still sounds like an amazing idea.
God damn it.
Of course it does.
Of course it does. Unreal Engine 4, they've been showing it off quite a bit because they've made some strides in making it more awesome. They have Unreal Tournament, the new-ish one, the one that's still in early access or beta. That's actually being used for ESL-like tournaments. The beta is being used for like MLG class gaming tournaments, which I think is kind of cool. But the engine itself is really the part, I would like to focus on right now, because the Snow Forest, it's awesome, and you can download the Unreal Engine and do all of the stuff yourself. But check out this forest. Just look how pretty it is. I mean, seriously, right? And then they have a regular forest that was done in Unreal 4 as well.
Holy shnikes.
And that is a gaming engine. That's the new Unreal 4. That's the new engine that they're working with, and it looks right. Axel, F me, that's sexy. That is accurate. The new Unreal,
Dead sexy.
yeah, the new Unreal Engine is pretty snazzy. If you're watching this, wait, graphics, yes, Gold King, game you've played, the first game you played where you saw the graphics of it, and you were instantly immersed. Go for it.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna go like that, then I gotta say the closest thing I ever played to realistic graphics that actually had me immersed was probably like Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
Okay.
Because at the time I was much younger, so it's like, at the time it was like cutting edge. It was like, oh my god, this actually does look kind of real. So yeah, at the time that was what I was immersed in. But now I'm looking at this, and this looks real. Like, the only thing I see about it that's like, you know, besides, you know, this, there's always that like slight degree between reality and something that's been generated, but that degree there is just very small. And otherwise, the only other thing that I saw that was like, I would be able to say that it was more animated than anything, was probably like how obvious you could see the snowflakes. But otherwise, it was just completely, yeah, it looks real.
The only thing that stood out to me on that was when the snowflakes are really close. They kind of look like a typical snowflake, as in a drawn snowflake, not a real snowflake.
Yeah, that's what
Other
I'm
than
talking.
that, it looked just spot on.
Oh, of course. Excuse me, still dealing with sickness
yeah.
from PAX. So what's the game that you played with the best graphics, Squeak, that you looked at and you were like, wow, Did Diablo do that for you? Diablo 3 when you first played it? Did Fable do that when you first played it? What game gave you that oh shit moment?
Well, not necessarily oh shit, it's real, but just the wow. Donkey Kong.
Like Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo?
Yes,
Okay.
with the rain and this. I love the rain one. My mom would actually ask like us to play it just so she could watch it. It was that pretty. And I mean, I was little, so to us it was just like wow. Plus, back in the day, it was wow.
Well, Donkey Kong Country. Let me look this up while we're here. Donkey Kong Country snow layers.
I think it's 12.
Yeah, there were 12 individual layers of snow, I believe, in Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo, and before that technology hadn't been used on the Super Nintendo before that. So the first time you see it almost looks like pseudo-realistic claymation the entire time, and then you see like the reflection of the ice and the snow and how it all looks very dynamic. The rail cart level in Donkey Kong Country with the sparks coming off of the rails, that did it for me. I was like, that's crazy. But if we're talking about a game, the first time I sat down and I was like, holy crap. The first time I did that was Silent Hill on the original PlayStation, because it actually created a feeling of like tension and, you know, you were being oppressed. You felt very vulnerable in this environment. And I was holding a controller. I was like, there's a video game medium that actually scares me. And that was the wow mode for me, because it felt, there was a lot of fog, and they did that in order to remove from needing to render everything else. So they blanketed it in fog, and now they have this massive map because of it, but it's all blocked out, and it was good. I really liked that. More recently, it was Shangri-La from Far Cry 4.
That one was just unreal. The bells, the monsters or demons, trees,
yeah,
all of that stuff was awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, if you guys are watching this on the YouTube, the links for all the news stories that we covered today will be down below, as well as a link for the stream. If you're watching this on stream, we'll be back with Brawlhalla. Thank you guys for being awesome. Continue to be that way. We'll be back after this short break to kick each other in the nuts. Cheers.
No.